Hi, this is Sandy,
And this is Trina.
and we're coming to you from Manteca, California.
How are you guys doing? We know that we probably you probably haven't seen us in a little while, but we're here. And as we always say, we have these different kind of conversations, and we decide to have conversations relating to our grief posture, our grief experience. And so today we're going to say,
Let's talk about it.
let's talk about it. Um, Sandy and I, we always start off by saying we have these different kind of conversations, but one of the conversations we had most recently was about just rituals that happen in a family when it relates to loss, just certain rituals. And one of the rituals that we know has come up or does come up often is the ritual of what we call, at least in many of our families, the repast.
Mm-hmm.
And so after someone has passed, then you go through the funeral part and are memorialized, and then there is, after they pass, what we call the repast. Then there's usually food, storytelling, family gatherings.
Just lots of conversation about that person's life and your memories as it relates to you
Yeah.
in their life. So it's a time of remembrance and celebration.
Yeah, yeah, the repast.
The repast.
And we know that people handle the repast differently. And so one of the thoughts is, we don't know the origin of a repast. We just know we've grown up with it. It's happened throughout generations. So as it relates to adults, there is usually, especially in the African American family, there's this expectation of this gathering that will happen or that takes place as a result of coming from the memorial or the funeral, depending on what you have. So we want to focus maybe on the adults and the how adults respond to the ritual of a repast. And everybody does respond differently.
Right.
I was replaying and thinking about how important it was for me after the passing of my mom to hold up this strong banner at this repast, because what you didn't want to do is to have all these different people see you real sad and maybe in a very low space. So there was this expectation, at least in my mind, to put on at least a cheerful disposition.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I wasn't the happiest that I've been, but just
Right.
definitely cheerful.
Right.
And so that could be really get lost in translation, depending on how other people might believe one should grieve.
Right.
And so I don't think that anyone can tell you what kinds of behavior you should have. But I do know that when you participate in certain rituals, there are certain expectations that you're going to participate, that you're going to be available for conversations, for hugs, for remembrance, and food, and then whatever else that might transpire in a repast ritual.
And if I can just intervene for a moment, Trina, I'm going to take it back even a little bit further as a ritual in our community. Typically, once you even hear of a passing, people will gather to that person's home over the course of days, weeks, however long, leading up to the service or even after the service, to bring food, to bring some kind of relief to the family. And so, whether you are in a space to entertain or talk or not, there is this unspoken expectation that you should be available and you should receive, and it is frowned upon if you refuse or don't receive. And so I think it's really interesting as
Mm-hmm.
we talk about this. So you have that, and then you have your service, and then you have, again, as Trina was mentioning, the repast. And so there's really not a lot of time for yourself by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
as
Mhm.
this process is happening. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. That's the busyness
Mm-hmm.
of the loss. Um, but it, I mean, again, it's kind of giving in to those kinds of rituals, those kinds of
Right.
expectation. And we're not suggesting that you need to do that. We just suggest that we're suggesting one that it happens, and then if you do participate, we just hope that it's not something that makes you feel guilty.
Right.
It is what it is. It happens. It's just how were brought up. It's how we are taught to respond to grief, and so the thing is, this was something that has come up for me that when we watch the news, and Sandy and I have talked about this before, and we have this expectation on how if somebody is talking about the loss of somebody, how that should look. you
Right.
know it's like, well, she didn't seem, or they didn't seem, and so we put our own expectations and upbringings in that space, and people can't always hold it. I don't know what you expect if the news media came to me and wanted to talk to me about the loss of a significant other or loved one. I don't know how I would respond. I don't
Right.
know, because I don't know, you know, what emotion is going to be in the lead. Is it
Right.
going to be the emotion of hold it together? Is it going to be the emotion of I'm going to fall apart, break
Mm-hmm.
down because of my loss? So sometimes one emotion might take the lead, and I'm
Right.
suggesting that whatever happens, it is okay.
It is okay. And I think it's also awareness for others, for us who are witnessing
Mm-hmm.
the grief happen, that we not be judgmental in that moment when people are expressing however way they are expressing, because oftentimes it can be mistaken for something else. Um, I could be having a horrible day, but I go to work with a smile and no one would know because that's the face that I'm putting on. And
Mm-hmm.
I say that to say this, that we often are quick to judge what
Mm-hmm.
grief is supposed to look like
Mm-hmm.
because we're judging it and putting it against ourselves, how we react and we respond. And so just be mindful of that.
Mm-hmm. I guess what's come to mind is that we are all so different,
Right.
and we are emotional beings when it's
Mm-hmm.
something that's emotional pressing up against us.
Yes.
And a lot of times, I know it's often referred to as self control, but
Right.
is it really self control, or is it social control?
Mm,
What am I responding to? Am I,
right.
am I responding to how society has told me how to respond,
Right.
or how to be controlled?
Right.
And so I don't, and I just say grief, when you're experiencing grief, when you experience the heartbreak, a
Right.
heartache, I don't think we really know how we're going to
And I don't think
respond.
there's a certain order. Just like
Yeah.
you mentioned, I
Yeah.
think, it might be shock that lasts for several days. It might be
Yeah.
pain that leads, on this particular moment. Like there's no handbook to tell you what order this is going to go in for you or for those around you.
Hmm.
So I think we're just trying to bring awareness to a conversation to help maybe you or someone that um, dealing with something in this aspect of grief.
Hmm.
It's very hard to gauge someone's reaction and label it,
Hmm.
because my action may show one thing, but inside I may be feeling something that you're way off on.
Hmm.
So be slow to judge.
Hmm. I agree with that. Slow to judge. Like I don't have any expectation
Hmm.
of a person experiencing a broken heart,
Right.
and I want to put it out there that no one should have an expectation of me. I know,
Right.
again, self control is it. I've learned these different ways to navigate my
Right.
life in front of people.
Right.
And we have been trained it's all right to fall apart alone.
Absolutely.
But I'm giving you permission to experience the loss, however you experience the loss.
Mm-hmm.
And we, the ones that are somehow a party to you, we should never judge that. And I mean, it's just a lesson learned that we shouldn't be judging how a person should respond. Or, it's time to move forward. So and so's passed. It's like, well, is it time to move forward? It's your timing, it's your experience, it's your emotion, and it's your ability to control whatever you can
Right.
control.
And again, for someone, I've known coworkers that have lost people as close as their parent and come in the very next day. And so whatever people need to do to help them get through what they're getting through,
Mm-hmm.
just know that your love and your support is going to trump any other thought that you should have.
Mm-hmm.
Just be loving, be supportive,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what they're going to remember about you in that moment and during that time.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good right there. I think that kind of sums up how we might respond to
Right.
rituals and what it means to
And we
some
would
people.
actually love to hear some of your rituals. We would love to hear what in your culture, in your family, in your group dynamic, you yourself individually,
Hmm.
some of your experiences that you can share with us. We would love to hear about it. We're
Yeah.
always willing to learn. And if you have any questions or feel it, this is for someone that could be, guided or moved by this conversation, we encourage you to share the video with them. And we also encourage you not to forget to visit your lighthouse.
Because it'll help you find your way out of the darkness.
Until next time, friends.
Say bye bye.